Hello guys, welcome to another weekly review. Today is the 1st of December 2019. We had a great week last week, got a 15% move on Bitcoin, a 15% short on Natgas, and also a 5% short on oil. If you were following, please do like and subscribe the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And let's go ahead with analyzing crypto. So last month on the 1st of November, I had posted a chart on my Twitter. Quickly, I'm just going to move to it. It's the starting of the month, and all I was showing was this move we had in the previous market cycle in April and what we did after. So basically, it was a couple of months of support, this monthly support, and we broke below it and we retested it as resistance, and after that we just had a really strong downtrend. And all I was warning people was that it is possible that we do the same thing. And essentially, May in the previous market cycle was a great time to be selling, and you can see the drawdown that we had from May, basically about an 80% drawdown. And look at what we've done in November. Essentially, that was a great time to be selling because we did have a minus 30% November. So here's the monthly chart and of the total market cap, and what we can see now is that we have clearly broken support. It is looking even more bearish than the previous market cycle that we had, because it actually took a couple of months to break. It took actually 3 months to break down from the support that was created from this April impulse. And you can see this October impulse has absolutely been decimated by the down candle that we've had in November. And on the monthly time frame, the only good support I can see is the psychological $150 billion number for the total market cap, which is also this block that we can see here. So essentially, this is where we could be looking for price to tend towards. Let's go to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we did hit a support level because there has been a decent amount of trading here. So this is providing some kind of support, but on the weekly we haven't closed yet, but it is looking like another bearish retest of a support that is broken, and now it is turning into resistance. Ideally, what I would like to see, and what is looking like most probable to me, is some kind of consolidation before we do break down again. If you want to be bullish and you want to be taking long positions, you want to see price to reclaim this level as support again, and then you should be looking for more upside. Until then, I think you should be at least looking to try trading a range and looking for maybe swing short positions to trade it down to this monthly support level. So that's all for our total market cap. Let's head to Bitcoin. So we're here at Bitcoin. This is the quarterly chart for Bitcoin, and essentially we have another month to go before this resolves itself. But another reason why I'm looking at some kind of a range for possibly all of December for Bitcoin is this quarterly chart. And what we can see here is this quarterly block that is currently providing support. It's for me, I think it's quite a decent support level, and even if price has to break below it, which if it does, support is pretty far away. The yearly open is quite far below that, but if price does have to break this, it would take some time for price to kind of range and do that. That would be ideal. And that's what I think does have a decent probability. Also, what I wanted to show you is look at the 2018 yearly open, and essentially this rally, it literally topped out at the yearly open, and that is why monthly and yearly opens, even weekly open levels, they are very important. This quarterly support is also a quarterly open level, which is providing support. So I think these are very important levels that one must pay attention to and utilize in their trading strategies. So on the monthly time frame for Bitcoin, I had posted that a close above 77.30, 77.27 would be pretty decent for BTC, but essentially we have closed below it, and no matter how big this bounce was, you can clearly see on the monthly time frame that this is clearly a downtrend, and price is breaking support, testing it as resistance, and we have been doing so over the last month quite strongly. This is not a bullish candle, even though it has a bit of a wick. For the monthly time frame and the quarterly, this is the support. Essentially 6600 is where we do have support. So what I would ideally want price to do is to play around with the support. The plays that we can look at, let's drill down to the weekly. So you can see the weekly time frame, we are still trying to claim the support. We're going to close today, and essentially if we do close below this weekly support, I would expect this to be a very strong resistance zone. The monthly open is essentially going to be a decent level to look at if you want to use it as a pivot. I would expect price to either start rejecting it and for us to start ranging between this monthly open and the quarterly support to build some kind of a range here for December. And my most probable situation, like I've already said, would be to break down below this range. But essentially, if we do start trading above the monthly open and we reclaim 77.30, this was the level that I was looking at before as well. I told people not to get overly bullish until we reclaim 77.30 as support. There is a higher likelihood that we either range or we continue the downtrend that we have been on. So strong resistance here, you can see that 77.30, 7800, these weekly levels, and now the monthly open, it's going to be a key pivot level. So I suggest you start to trade within this range, 6600 to 7550, and watch what price does within this range. So this is odds against BTC. We've been monitoring this chart and using it pretty profitably since quite some time now, and essentially what we've had is a couple of weeks of downtrend. Odds were a bit strong while initially BTC was dropping, and by the middle of November odds have been dropping harder than BTC. So a weekly level that I want you to be paying attention to is this weekly level that we are now breaking below, essentially reflecting that alt BTC, we have had a higher high, a higher low, and a lower high, which essentially reflects that we are kind of building a range. But odds are not going to have too much time for that range, because we have a couple of key trend lines. The one that I would be looking at more closely is this trend line, the support trend line that we have been holding this entire while since 2014. Because if alt BTC ranges too long, we are going to be breaking this trend line, and essentially that would mean that either we are delayed into getting some kind of strength, or we are heading to lower levels for odds against BTC. essentially to these tops. So I would still be trading alts because there is more volatility in them, while BTC ranges. It's a broad market, and it's a market for smart players. So if you are trading alts, you should look at the ones that are trending, coins like Matic, Atom, and keep a lookout on Subverto Twitter, because we'd be trading alts and looking for volatility there while BTC builds out a range. And we'll also be looking to hedge our positions and playing the range. Going to exclusively put a video essentially tomorrow about how I'm going to be playing the range on BTC. But odds against BTC, today's weekly close, it still hasn't closed, but might close below this weekly a weekly level, which would reflect that we are building a range because we have failed to make a higher high. So we were beginning a trend, but now we may be starting to range again. So it would be not a broad market play, looking for specific plays, and we'll keep you updated on that. Moving on to traditional markets, here is Dow Gold, our risk on indicator. We were looking for price to build a bit of a range here and go sideways, and essentially we are getting a good reaction from this trend line of the wedge, and we're looking for price to eventually trade into this weekly resistance level and see how we react to that. But we have been over all of November pretty much ranging. We have had a slight move up, but this November and December scribble is still on point, looking for what price does once we trade into this weekly resistance. So Nasdaq has done pretty well, traded very well within this channel. You had seen a couple of times now prices started to bleed out of it, which essentially means that the same amount of strength is not there. I did say I don't expect price to continue within this channel, because if it does, the market is too bullish. I was expecting a bit of a flush for this November consolidation. We did not get that, so that for me is quite bullish that we did continue to trend. I think there's nothing to worry for the bulls until we break this weekly support and start testing it as resistance. It's quite a fine rally, and it could still have legs. Our December target was between 84 and 85.50, and essentially it's just the beginning of December and we're already close to there. So a decent strength, a lot of FUD that can continue to fuel this rally, and it's a nice trending asset if you are not wanting to trade ranges that we are finding in crypto. You should definitely be looking at indices and stocks because they are nice trends to play in here. Gold has been ranging most of November, and essentially the Dow Gold chart was reflecting a bit of this. The only decent short on gold, we were able to catch it. I did speak about it. Took some profits off the table last week, but did not reach the daily support target. So got stopped out of the rest of the trade. Essentially, it's quite a tight range unless you do play ranges. It's hard to catch this. We heading into channel resistance, but basically a reclaim of this and taking out another swing failure onto these highs could give another short position. Anything else, a reclaim of this and a reclaim of this, you could trade it back up to these daily levels as well. But I think there is more volatility even in terms of commodities and other asset classes. But for now, if we do get rejected from this channel resistance, essentially taking out this high, we break back into the channel, you can try to trade it to the bottom of these lows. But yes, a tight range on gold, unless you are proficient trading ranges, this could be a bit hard to trade. But for now, these are the couple of scenarios I'm looking at. Swing failure pattern of over these highs, would look to short back down at least to these lows and maybe test the daily support. A break of this I would add to my shorts and look for lower levels. And if we do start finding support up here, I'd look to trade it into this daily resistance. Well, Natgas gave an absolute monster of a trade. We were looking for a swing failure pattern over these highs and a reclaim of this, a Quasimodo reclaim, to trade it down first to the weekly resistance. Broke back down, you can easily add to that and just smash through these support levels, which have now turned into resistance. But we're heading into quite a crowded zone, a lot of traffic here. So for this week, I would essentially expect Natgas to range possibly a bounce play up to this daily resistance, but I think we should be building a range here now for Natgas. Yeah, so this is here's oil. I was giving a bit of an educational class last week of how to trade channels, and you can see we can just go about our business trading a channel, and eventually price does have to leave. And if you do carry on trading the channel, you end up getting a stronger move outside of the channel, which you are able to trade. So if you did take a short here, took partial profits here, you would still be in this oil trade. But oil, we basically have broken out of this long-term trend line and turned it into we could possibly turn it into a retest and a support. But after such a powerful move, and we are heading into support right here. So after such a powerful move, we're heading into support right here. Maybe we could grind down and head towards this monthly support level. Alternatively, again, after a strong move, if we do turn this into resistance, then you could trade it down to the monthly support and watch what price does from there. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and go ahead and share it with someone else. And if you have any questions about what we covered today, please leave them in the comments and I will be sure to get back to you or answer them in my next video. For more trading content and education, go ahead and click on the video on your right. Thanks for watching, guys, and cheers!